Hi neighbors, are you getting a new roof this year, a new deck, or doing any remodeling? I'm Eric Reno with Paramount Roofing, and today I want to give you 5 tips when hiring a contractor for this year's project in 2024. Tip number 1, check and verify proper licensing. For many trades in the state of Michigan, a license is required when performing residential construction and remodeling. When you're looking at a license, make sure you're verifying that the license is active and the name on the license is the exact same name as what's on the contract that you're signing. It's too often that we see companies using other companies' license because they haven't gotten their own, or they're not able to because of past history or background issues, or they're not able to get a license in the state of Michigan. So here is a copy of my builder's license. So there's a few things you're going to notice on this license: the business name, the address, the name of the qualifying officer, which is me, the expiration date, and the license number. The license number is what you're going to need to verify the license. To verify this license, you're going to want to go to michigan.gov /Lara, L-A-R-A. From there, I'm going to show you how to verify a license. Okay, now that we're at michigan.gov /Lara, we're going to go to I need to. We click here, and you can go to verify a license of a business professional. And again, I'm going to use mine just so I can show you all the way through of how this is done. We're going to click on residential builder. And a residential builder is most of the exterior services. So roofing, siding, gutters, there's a lot of things that go, additions, things like that. Like the builder's license covers a lot of different skill sets. And what you're going to want to do is put in the license number. Sometimes if you just put in the provider name, this website is not that user friendly. So it's easiest to just put in the license number. You don't have to fill out anything else and hit search. And what you're going to see is an active name, the date it was issued, and then the expiration date. So this too will verify how long a company's been licensed, and it should be similar to actually how long they've been in business. But you'll be able to see the license type, the license number, being that it's active, as well as the company name, and this is verified by the state of Michigan. So now we've verified the license of the contractor that we're going to work with. Let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2. Insurance. How to read and verify that your contractor is insured properly. Make sure you're given a copy of the contractor's insurance certificate, and this can be through email or a hard copy. Again, you're going to want to make sure you're verifying that the company that you're working with is the company that's insured. Beware. An insurance certificate is very easy to create. I mean, with Microsoft Excel or anything in 2024, right? A piece of paper is very easy to duplicate, just like a license. So we need to go through the parameters to make sure that this insurance is legit. So now I'm going to share with you my certificate of insurance. That way it will help you be able to read the one that you'll be reading. What you're going to notice is a few things. On the top here it says producer. That's just from the agent. That's the agent that's going to get you the certificate. The insured, making sure that the company in the insured box is the same company that's on your contract. Up here we're going to have the contact information for the agents, and we're going to need that later when I give you an example. Now down here when we look at the deck page and the amount of coverages, making sure that the amount of coverages coincide with the liability of the trade that a contractor is performing at your house. Let's look at this. General liability. What is general liability insurance for? Liability insurance is for any damage that happens to your house or on your premises. So let's give you some examples. A bundle slides off the roof and hits your car. You're getting a tree taken down. A branch comes down and goes through your roof. You're getting drywall done on the inside. The ceiling falls and breaks things inside of your house. These would all be covered under a contractor's liability insurance. Now when we go over here, we can see what the contractor insurance limit is for. And we want to verify that the amount of exposure or risk per job or project is a reasonable amount in the event that something happened to your house. Next, we're going to look at the workers' comp policy. The workman comp policy protects the homeowner from an injury to an employee. If someone was to get injured on the job and a contractor did not have proper insurance for their employees or people on the job site, then a lawsuit could rise against the homeowner in order to cover the medical expenses. Now when we look over here to the right at the limits again, we're going to want to make sure the limit is high enough. We all know how medical bills stack up these days, or at least have heard about it, right? You can't go to the doctor or do anything for cheap anymore. So we want to make sure that we have a healthy number on this side. In the event of an injury, the contractor's insurance is a high enough limit to cover whatever injury sustained on your property. Another thing that you can look at is an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy covers most problems, and next to it you'll see a number for the umbrella policy. Depending on the trade, this is not required, right? Liability and comp is required, but an umbrella policy isn't. Being that we do a lot of commercial work in big projects, we carry an additional insurance for our company. So now that we know how to read an insurance certificate, we verified that the company's properly insured. They're insured for a proper amount of money to do the job. We know the difference between liability and comp, and we know how they're protecting us. The last thing you're going to want to do is on the top of that insurance certificate where it says the agent's name, you can request from a contractor to be an additional insured. This means that you will get a certificate of insurance straight from the agent and not from the contractor. Not very many people ask me for this. It's no problem to produce it, but it's more if you're using a newer company or a smaller company, or you just have a weird feeling, right, where I just want to make sure that this is 100% legitimate, you can do this. You'd be requesting an additional insured certificate from the underwriting agent or the carrier. So again, on the top right of that insurance deck that I showed you, it will say the contact information for the insurance agent, and you can call them and request an additional insurance. And that way the certificate comes straight from the insurance company to you, verifying that that thing is 100% legitimate. Tip number 3, online reputation, reviews and authenticity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2024. How do we possibly check contractors and check anybody for reviews and making sure that they're authentic and legitimate? Today's marketing strategy, anybody can hit their ground running, right? You start your business, you have some money in the bank, you invest into Google ads, you invest into different marketing companies. It is very easy to all of a sudden have tons of Google reviews. It's very easy to all of a sudden have ads everywhere every time you open your phone. Did you know the average person sees 10,000 ads a day? That's crazy, right? That's because this marketing thing has gone completely bananas in the last 10 years. But back to our story. How do we make sure that the reviews are authentic? The best way to make sure that reviews are authentic is, number 1, check online reviews in more places than one, right? Google is the mothership of review collection, but Google's also one of the easiest reviews to fake, because there's really no verification. And for good reviews or bad reviews, Google won't take them off your account. So if you write a bad review on a company that you didn't even work with, though the company reports it to Google, Google typically won't take that review down. But there is marketing companies that do that, right? They take bad reviews down, and on the flip side, they also give companies reviews that they didn't earn. So checking around Better Business Bureau, checking Facebook. Facebook's a good one because you have to have a profile in order to leave a review. And if you're leaving not legitimate reviews, you're going to be able to click on these profiles of the people that so-called recommended the company and notice that they don't have any, family photos. They don't, it goes back 2 months instead of going back years like a normal Facebook profile would. So Facebook's very easy to authenticate. Back to Google. There's one way to check review authenticity on Google that's very easy for a person that isn't so used to navigating the internet. If you click on a company, go to their profile, then you click on their reviews. It will list everybody's name. Now that you've seen in the beginning how long a company's been in business, you can click the oldest review and see when they got their first review, and then you can click newest review and see when their newest reviews are. And making sure that a normal company will get the same amount of reviews week after week after week after week, or maybe the company's only got 10 reviews and they're getting 1 a month, right? You'll be able to see that cadence to make sure that that is right. Now all of a sudden a company goes from 0 to 50 reviews. How do they do that? Well, a good way to check is under the person's name. If you have John Smith left a review for ABC Roofing, under John Smith or over his head it will say he has 17 reviews. If you click on the amount of reviews a person has left, it will show you all the reviews they've ever left on Google. Now, if he has 1 review for Paramount Roofing in Michigan, and then he has 1 in San Francisco, 1 review for another company in Nebraska, 1 in Florida, 1 in New Jersey, and they all say the same thing, or they say near the same thing, it's pretty obvious that that is not a real review. That's an old school way of gathering reviews. Now companies have gotten a lot better with faking reviews. But if you go through and you see this time after time where every person's profile has 14 reviews, 16 reviews, 18 reviews, and they're all over the country, That's a marketing company. Those are not real reviews. You can also grab the name and plug it into Facebook and see if the name pops up. But typically illegitimate reviews will be like John Smith, a name that is very duplicatable, so you can't find and locate the person. In conclusion to that, compare reviews across multiple platforms and make sure the company that you're working with is a legitimate company. Tip number 4. Number of years in business and size of business. What are the pros and cons? Well, before we do that, let's go back to the very first tip, number 1. And on the michigan.gov/Lara, when they got licensed, you'll be able to see that date. So that's a good way to help identify the years a company has actually been in business. You can also look up the business website domain page and see how long their domain's been active. I know several companies claim they've been in business way longer than they have. So you can look at all their promotions and see how long they've been in business, and then you can compare it to when they were licensed, when their domain was created. All the information you need is on the internet. You can look up when the business was incorporated, when the LLC was created. All that stuff is very easy to find with a quick Google search, and making sure you're verifying that the company that you're going with has actually been in business for the amount of years that they're claiming. Size of businesses can matter, and they have pros and cons to them. Established companies, they carry more overhead. So a con is you're gonna pay a little bit more. But a pro is if something was to go wrong, somebody got hurt, somebody got injured, there was a repair to be done, or the project failed over time, you can bet, based upon your research we did earlier, they're gonna be there to honor the project all the way through the warranty phase. Let's talk about smaller companies. A pro for smaller companies can be they're a little bit less expensive. The con is, statistically, according to the state of Michigan, only 5% of companies that are registered make it 5 years. So the fact is, if you're putting on something that's going to last you a long time, you have a 5% chance that the company you contracted with is going to be around in 5 years to honor or warranty your work. Now wait a minute, I'm not trying to take away from small companies. Tomorrow's greats started today. I'm just trying to protect you as homeowners and give you a few tips to help you. We all started somewhere. So going with the small guy or the smaller company or the one-man band, sometimes you're gonna get the best craftsman that you've ever worked with, and you'll have a lifetime relationship. Just do your homework as we did in steps 1 through 4. All right, tip number 5 and the final tip. You almost made it through this video and you're almost ready to hire your contractor for 2024. Let's talk about deposits and warranties. Deposits, ooh, the scary part, right? So many stories go around. This guy took my deposit, they didn't even start work. This guy wants 50% down, should I give it to him? Is it safe, right? The reason I did this one last is because if we've went through steps 1 through 4 and they've checked out on all the boxes, a deposit isn't something you should be scared of. Remember, as contractors, we have the material to pay for upfront typically, as well as the labor to furnish throughout your job. Depending on the company and depending on the trade, sometimes deposits are normal. Sometimes deposits are not. You know, for residential roofs that don't have a special order material, we take no deposit. That's just something that we've always done. But say you're a brick company, right, and you're putting in a brand new pool and patio, there's no way you're bringing that kind of material in with no financial commitment from the homeowner. So depending on what you're doing and depending on who you're comfortable with, I wouldn't be worried about giving a contractor a deposit. If all 4 of the other tips check out, just make sure that it's a reasonable amount. We're not giving somebody 75% upfront. You can negotiate that with your contractor, but that's my 2 cents of advice. Let's talk about warranties. Warranties are all over the board, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what you buy, a phone, a computer, a lawnmower. It doesn't matter what you want. Do you want the extended warranty with it, right? That's the first question that's always asked. Some people are warranty people, others are not. When looking into a trade or when getting a project done, as you get quotes or do your research, you're gonna find the standard warranty for that industry or that project. Be careful of crazy warranties, right? Nobody's warrantying anything for 50 years. Nobody's gonna be even around in 50 years. If the business owner, I'm 38, right? In 50 years, I'm not gonna be, I don't know what's gonna happen to your roof. I don't even know where I'm gonna be, right? So be careful of crazy warranties. Also, check into the manufacturer's warranty in the material you're purchasing. So if it's brick, the kind of brick. If it's siding, the kind of siding. If it's a roof, the shingles, the metal, the clay, whatever you're buying, right? Making sure that, hey, I'm buying this product from this manufacturer. What are their warranty guidelines? And actually look into them. Don't take them for face value. Let me give you a quick example. I know roofing, so let's talk about shingles. Every shingle manufacturer, whether it's CertainTeed, Owens Corning, GAF, Tamco, IKO, all the manufacturers that make the shingles that we install, they all have a lifetime warranty with their shingle. Don't take that for face value. Every lifetime warranty is not the same. Now, when you're using different drywall, when you're using tubs, like kitchen cabinets, anything like this, right? The manufacturer is going to have its own warranty. It's something you're going to want to look into and actually know what the guidelines mean, because when it's just lifetime's confusing. Is it my lifetime, my dog's lifetime? Whose lifetime is it? You want to educate yourself on that. These are my 5 tips. If you have any questions for me, you can comment on the video, you can comment on the Facebook post, you can message me direct, you can give my office a call. I'll put my email on the screen. If you have any questions or anything I can help you with, please feel free to reach out. And if there's something I didn't cover that you think is a really good topic for helping homeowners, please leave that comment or send me an email and let me know what it is, because I'd love to cover it. Thank you guys so much. God bless you this year and have a great 2024.